Uh oh. Oh, it's live already. Let's
Yeah,
go.
on the record.
Let's go.
Don't believe the countdown clock. Although that's a nice countdown clock.
It
It's
is a nice countdown clock.
I literally when I posted mine yesterday and I found a full 24-hour countdown clock, but it was like 2 gigabytes in Twitter and
I know, right? I had to like crop it down to get it in there.
Oh, it was. I was hoping. I thought it'd be so fun to put and then pin, but yeah, there's a limit.
It is actually a really good idea.
Right.
Okay, LinkedIn. I need to do my. Did you see the guy got married and what he learned from his B2B LinkedIn sales?
Oh
Like,
my gosh. Yeah,
I
I saw
try,
that mostly on Twitter, which is like just so appropriate if that's where it should be.
I'm trying to get more and more into LinkedIn. I just
That was rage bait. That had to be.
it had to be, right?
Yeah, of course.
The thing is, though, man, I got to tell you, like, there has been some things that I thought were rage bait that were actually legitimate, or not legitimate, but they were not pun intended. But who knows? Hey, to each their own. I try.
You have to embrace the cringe. You honestly, I think that's the. It's kind of like when I used to teach public speaking, college, university.
Mm-hmm.
I use this metaphor, and we're live being recorded. But I always said, if you don't feel like on the inside you're a coked up junior high cheerleader, your audience is not going to think you're excited. Like that's your level. You need to feel, and I think it's similar on social. Like you got to feel like, should I be posting this? Is this too much? And then it's like, no. As long as you're a decent human, now there's non-decent humans.
Yes, that's fair.
But as long as you're a decent human with good social empathy, not a sociopath, then that's like the level. That's when things hit. Let me tell you, I've been embracing that for the last 7 days and some change for sure.
Great segues. Great seg. Speaking of sociopath, have you guys seen The Jinx? Season 2 just came out. You haven't? You have
I
to.
did. I saw the first
season. Me too.
They dropped the second one, but it's like one episode or something.
Hey, yeah. Where do you guys land on that? I like to binge because it clears out my memory if I have like a week go by and like I don't know. I like the whole. Sometimes I'll just wait on episodes. Like I did that with Shogun. Have you guys done Shogun yet on Hulu?
Yeah. We just
sensational.
Did it. Love it.
Yeah, it's sensational. High cognitive load though, because a lot of subtitles and like you have to be there. It's kind of like a Game of Thrones. You like you really have to be engaged because there's so many plot lines.
Like a chart of so who's connected to who, and my lovely wife pre-gamed for like the first 3, and then she was like
dual language in Shogun. It's like it's hard to tell when. I don't understand why they speak Japanese sometimes and English other times. It's like so much back and forth. It's crazy.
Yeah, because you guys are old like me.
Look, that person's mad at that person because of this, but they're actually on this person, and it was like that with the I needed like a flow chart.
Yeah. Well, the other interesting thing is one, like the Japanese culture in itself is like it's very subversive and not in like a pejorative way, but it's like you don't really like if you hate somebody, you don't say like, if you meet like a proper Japanese person, you're like, hey, you coming to the party? They're like, yes. And like that meant no kind of thing. Like they just don't have a very confrontational culture. But the other thing is I'm old. So I keep my captions on all the time. And so it's like confusing because I'm like, is this the caption or the subtitle? Like what is going on here? I don't know what to do. So
I crossed that line, but at least I crossed it. I'm going to be 42 this year. So I crossed it in my 40s. I don't know what your excuse is.
Okay. I know. I just hit 39. So
I was never more acutely aware of my age than when I went, all right, we're just doing captions from now on. F it.
That's it. Done. That's it.
That's what's happening now. It was that, and then did you ever watch like the like Real World, and then they did the challenge based on road rules, and they just released a new All-Star version. They're like 3 seasons into it, and even the music, I'm like, they're just pandering to my geriatric millennialism. It is so clearly. I'm acutely aware of this and here for it. I'm fine.
It's exactly right. Oh, we got first blood in the chat. The SEO prowess of AO. Pasiti? Is that how you pronounce it? That's a cool Italian name, man. I hope I'm not butchering it. No, I'm with you. I've had a couple old moments as well, but kids won't. the kids will never realize the actual just unbelievable excitement of rage hanging up on people.
Mhm.
Like
All right.
tapping glass, it just doesn't, but the clamp, it's spectacular.
By
All
the
right,
way,
you ready to start the show?
how do I chat?
Here we go. Here
What's
we
that? Oh,
go.
you don't see the chat?
Okay. No, I don't see it.
It's on the screen. What do you look?
I found
There,
it. I
you-
found it. Comments. There it is. I'm good to go.
All right,
Boom.
let's do it.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. Gotta back it up. There we go.
It's the DTC Shoooooow. Jump right in, you better get on it fast so you don't miss anything with Rob and Jess. It's the latest news and some random ass guest. All your favorite segments that you are obsessed. Win so much, be a part of the show. Get your ass up in the chat and let it all flow. So jump right in, there is so much to know. It's your number one marketing show.
Back to human-powered jingles on this show, for the most part. But welcome, everyone, to the DTC Show, Episode 7, with Aaron Orendorf. Already have 124 viewers. High expectations to break records on this show. Welcome,
What's the
Aaron.
number so I know how many people to text and DM on the side? To just
I
at
think
least
it's
put 'em in here?
3:30. So
Oh, son of a gun.
we
Okay.
got some work to do.
No kidding.
But Robert, how you doing? How you doing today?
Muted. I can't hear you, man.
Robert,
That was all this production value. All of it. Custom
Okay.
songs.
Oh my
You got
gosh.
mic
And
lights up.
you see,
There it
the
is.
old
Geriatric-
people. It's like
geriatric moment. Insert the gif where the lady's taking the picture in her face. Anyways, outside of being very old, I had a wonderful time in Tulum. Did a really awesome trip there. Beautiful, really magnificent place. And now I'm out here in Miami. We're doing some cool stuff with Prescient and Flex. We're doing a little golf tournament, dinner, poker, and then there's a big rager at a mansion on Saturday night. So pretty cool. And also, Jess, I know you are the F1 connoisseur, so the Grand Prix is also out here right now, as well as, and we won't go too deep into this because we'll keep it marketing, not sporty ball. But Adrian just left Red Bull, and they're going to throw Mercedes is trying to throw Max Verstappen a bag. So, anyways, but I'm doing well, so thank you for asking.
I love seeing Horner burn Red Bull to the ground, so I'm here for it.
Samesy. Absolute samesy.
All right, so we got a lot of segments, so let's jump in there. Finn, welcome to the chat.
Let's go, Finny.
But as always, we do a unique merch item for the show. This one is next level. I got to play the jingle first, though.
It's a bird, it's plain. It's DTC show merch, and it's insane.
It's a bird, it's a plane.
No, it's DTC show merch, and it's insane.
Oh
DTC show
my
merch, and it's
God.
insane.
This is a custom all-over print windbreaker.
Wow.
With Orendorf on the back. We got the AO cuffs there. Pretty legendary garment, I think.
No stops left unpulled. I am in awe right now. How much do I have to pay you to get this?
No, we'll
Yeah.
send you one. We'll send you one. The guest always gets one.
Wow.
Get
This-
the hell
this-
out of here.
This might have supplanted the hot flash for the number one piece. Now this is art.
Yeah. Yeah. You'd wear this, Aaron, wouldn't you? Of course you would.
The question is not would Aaron wear it, it's would any other human actually wear it.
I think the question is, would you ever take it off? I mean, this is. I'd shower in this. This is. You guys
The
ever
only
watch
time I'm
Arrested
taking it off
Development?
is this is now going to be the punishment for I've got a 17, 13, and 11-year-old at home, and so this is going to be like, if you ever really act up, we're going to the mall on this. That's the holy crap.
This is magic, pure magic.
Well, there's two ways to win this. One, if you retweet any of the the different tweets from Raba or Aaron or myself, retweet those and you'll be entered to win. Jada will find you and will be entered to win. And also, if you leave an interesting comment, so we already have Finn and Pasidi are already going to be in there. Just drop an interesting comment, interact. We'd love to see what you have to say. That's one way to win. The second way to win is if you can guess where Aaron is going, type it in the chat. If you get it right, we'll put that in a second drawing and see if anyone can come up with that answer.
Wow. The decision 2024. Well, let's go.
Okay, so just there's a few more house cleaning things. We are on Spotify. There's the videos there, but if you're at the gym, in the car, or whatever, I think the show is pretty good audio only. We can't really describe the magnificentness of the merch, but definitely worth the listen as well.
Powerful, Emmett. It looks like, two things. The names are reversed, so the surname is first. And then the second thing is, I guess Twitter chat isn't working. So we apologize for this, but you might have to go get your hands dirty and jump in LinkedIn. Come on in. The water's just fine if you want to get in the chat.
Born. Join us on LinkedIn, I'm way bigger on Twitter, so that's the only reason I'm going to accept if we don't actually break that 300 and whatever number today is because of that. Now, I'm going to say there's going to be an asterisk next to it from now on.
It's exactly right.
Well, 225 right now, so working on it. We're climbing. So head over.
Shoelace is the first guess, so chalk that.
Yep. Head over to LinkedIn. Any of us were there as well. And then lastly, so I'm doing this thing with Motion and 3 other ad geniuses, Morella, Dara, and Savannah. It's just like this 5-week long. We're just dropping all of our possible knowledge possible. It's free. So, there's a link right there if you want to sign up for it. I've been saving some of my most juiciest things for the past month for this as well. But so everyone, obviously needs no introduction, but we'll allow you to do an introduction anyways with the guest in 10 seconds.
Aren't we blessed to have the greatest guest? Let's hear your story in the 10 seconds that we have left.
Aaron, this is you. Who are
I'm Aaron Orndorff, VP of Growth at Somewhere Soon to Be Announced. I'm not a writer, but I play one on the internet, and I fell ass backwards into the career of a lifetime by
Time's up, sounds amazing, but we gotta go. If you want to know more, check the description below.
All right, a little bit of a slow start, but I definitely picked it up there.
Yeah, what's harder? You gotta be like, and go.
Fair. I think Jon Snow number 1 and Shaq is the worst. So you're somewhere in the middle. That's the floor and the ceilings.
Looks like we got people in the YouTube chat as well. I guess that's
working. Let's go.
YouTube or LinkedIn. Music is loud. Okay, we'll turn that down. All right, moving on to the next segment here. News of the week. Got a few items to do.
So DTC News of the week.
This is new.
This was it was the one from last week. It was the AI generated.
This is a banger.
So first news item, we've been covering this for a little while, but now the ink is in. Biden has signed it. TikTok has 9 months to be divested, sold, or whatever, or banned from the app stores. Does anyone have any interesting new takes on this, or does people think this could there could be legal battle, and this could just go on forever or years, depending. There might be litigation around it, so it might still be a nothing burger, or is there teeth here?
I'll jump in, and then AO, I'd love to hear you, and then shout out to Corey for the Rugrats reference.
It is.
Nobody will get that, but I love it.
No, it's actually Saved by the Bell. It's clipped from Saved by the Bell. So
quasi era. Melissa. Okay, come on. Spoiler alert. You have to prefix that with a spoiler. No, jokes aside, at the end of the day, TikTok or ByteDance could easily spin off TikTok, and I think that money's just going to win out. There's just so much like on the private markets. I would love to get a piece of ByteDance where I think a lot of TikTok's value right now is supremely depressed because of this litigation. And
Yeah,
once
sure.
this gets taken away, where there's no more really headwinds or unknowns, it's just going to skyrocket. So I think they're going to, dude, unfortunately or fortunately, wherever you land, we are in a capitalistic society, and there's just so much money at stake that they're just going to find a way to appease people where, you know what I mean? Once this gets sussed out, you're going to see probably a 5-6x pop in ByteDance or whatever that new entity that gets spun out or divested in. And at the end of the day, money usually wins in the US. And so I think there's just
Right.
too much money at
It-
stake where people are going to figure it out.
It didn't win in India. Did get banned over there, but
But I would argue India isn't as capitalistic as the States. I think
sure.
the States is the most capitalistic country in the world. But I do take your point.
If there's money to be had, and there clearly still is, I don't think there's a more cynical or accurate take than what you just described. That is,
Yeah. I'm the old man. Get off my lawn.
if you can buy attention and control the flow. The thing that I'm really curious about is, because see, I'm sort of the loop on all of these things, is the level of what's the price tag going to be, and how does this not just then roll into someone who's already got a game in the monetization of attention fight, like already a big ad platform, like does that then become an immediate? I mean, maybe you don't call it a monopoly, but you've already got like the big four, the big three. What is that a play that's acceptable as long as it's U.S. based?
Well,
Legal experts?
I think yes. Yeah, so I think yes, but for me, the challenge is, what does US based mean? Because right now, like they're supposedly not supposed to send any US data back to China, and there's tons of stuff coming out where, like, yes, they're like, hey, we need to send the servers back, or you need to send the stuff back to Beijing or whatever. And so, I don't know. I think the devil can be in the details, but I cannot see any way that there is any politician that could not, like, it's going to be banging pans and then checks. Or I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't know if it's the right move, the wrong move. Like, I do, like, in a weird like way, because I am pretty capitalistic. There's a pretty decent argument to be made that it's a legitimate national security threat. Like when this came out, people like 16-year-old, like there was parents where their kids were getting texts to call their congressman and stuff like that. Like 0% cool with that. And so
it would be easy for them to adjust the algorithm in ways that we cannot see, and all of a sudden it's a media outlet that with it's like with news and typical propaganda, it's very obvious what's going on, but with adjusting the algorithm to favor certain things, it's very hard to see, and it feels natural and it feels real, and it's really dangerous.
Well, and to build on that point, I think there should be trade reciprocity. And so we, like, Shein can come into the States, North Face, Gucci, or Gucci's not US based, but North Face, whatever, like US based companies, like they can cross sell in each country. Guess what China doesn't allow? Foreign media companies. And so, like, we're going to allow a foreign media company but they won't allow us to have. So I think that's another really decent argument of like, okay, cool. If you guys want to do this, it needs to be two ways. But if not, then you can devolve kind of what you're talking about, Jess, where it gets into some really interesting things where you don't need to, like, basically you can put a match and a gasoline can there and just turn around and be like, oops, I didn't do it. I just, and so that's where it gets really weird for me. But yeah, I don't know. At the end of the day, I think the almighty dollar is going to rule, and they're going to get something figured out, how it impacts the societal fabric and the politics. And I mean, especially since this year is a presidential election.
Yeah, it'll be sold, but there's going to be second order effects of creators freaking out, teenagers freaking out, just creating a lot of like instability in all over the place. Recently, we have here someone's saying TikTok might get banned from the App Store because they're trying to circumvent the in-app purchases from Apple and use alternate things. And I don't know if there's like last ditch, or it just seems like that's not a great way to build partnerships with the people that might be banning you or not. But
Yeah, to be fair though, there's some people that have special access. So like Amazon with Audible does this. There's a few other
Mhm.
stores that circumvent this, and they just have a deal where you can. There's some things you can do to jump through the hoops, and like again, for better or worse, when you're massive like this and you have 20, like what do you have, like 2 billion active users a month or something, like you just get different treatment. It's kind of like the disruptors group, the OG Facebook stuff, where it's like you just got treated different. You got the
Well,
best reps, and you just have different rules,
Fort
unfortunately.
Fortnite is pretty big, and did this in the height, and circumvented, and they got kicked off.
Yeah,
So
yep, very fair. But I mean, again, there's apps that are that I heavily use that kind of circumvent this. But this, to your point, it's probably handshake deals of like making sure that, hey, we get ours, but we don't want to leave you. Okay, so but yeah, so I don't know if it's necessarily a
I would
yeah
be more afraid of Apple than I would of the U.S. government if I
yeah
was
they're
in
all
their position.
mobsters.
yeah
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're the ones that Apple will just say F it, especially if we look good for a hot second. Like we'll take all of the,
Yep.
we'll take all of the data, and we want a cut of the whatever the pie is, the pass through amount. And you're right. I think with Fortnite, I've yet to see, and I think Audible just does it by like you've got to then go through Amazon directly. That's the only one I can think of that does any sort of circumventing and still doesn't like really get in trouble and they let them do it. But it's just such a click outside the app link that okay, fine, you get to. Other than that, yeah, that'd be I'd be more scared of Apple than the U.S. government.
Yeah. Yeah, Corey says the App Store is the problem here, but there's no benevolent actors in any of this. They're all like gigantic companies, and money always rules. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, but to
Uh,
to your point, AO, about, and we'll round up on this and go to perfect segue to the Googs,
It is.
is Facebook, or Meta, previously Facebook, was so terrified, like that's why they adhere to Apple's policies. They have Instagram, WhatsApp,
yeah.
Messenger,
Right.
Facebook proper. Like they're like, hey, like we can do this stuff, but if we bite this hand, we just get all of our distribution wrecked, and without any impressions, guess what? You can't serve ads. And so it's a big, I mean, and again, there's a quasi case to be made. Like, is the 30% premium worth it to keep a clean house, to keep bad actors out, blah, blah, blah. I don't, that's the argument, but I don't know, is what it is. When you build a platform, you get to decide what to do with it.
All right. So this next one, Google can't quit third-party cookies delays shutdown for a third time until 2025. This has been going on since 2020. I think
Mm-hmm.
from my point of view, it's like, does this even matter anymore? This is like for desktop browsers or whatever, and it feels like all traffic is now like through apps generally. And so are they pushing this out until this is like a nothing, or is this yet another apocalypse on the horizon?
How much of GA4's goofy data driven and like their attribution is tied to this sort of activity besides them just weighting everything towards their continuing to diminish share of ad revenue? I can't help but think that goes together, and that Google, it, the backlash seems to be pretty strong, at least in the DTC sphere, on PMAX and the continued frustration of, will a rep actually exclude branded search? Won't they? How do we get visibility
Right.
into it? And Google just trying to hang on to, I'd say, like their cash cow is getting leaner and leaner. And if this is a way to try to at least continue and validate that, then yeah, until there's a replacement that lets them try to justify the ad spend that they're pushing people towards, it's going to just continue the can't quit. That's again, it's the where's the money follow the money is the only way I can think about it. And the only sad part is I kept hoping they would pull the same thing with the old school GA Universal, and just still heartbroken that they didn't. I'm still just hurt and mad.
No notes. I totally agree. I mean, I think GA4 was probably the biggest debacle I've ever seen in my life. But to be fair, the stock is screaming right now. I'm not a big Sundar guy, but I mean the stock's screaming right now. So it's pretty interesting to see what's going down. But I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like the retail investors don't have to use GA4 on a daily basis. You know,
That's amazing.
so moving on to another one. So we have a new version of Safari that will allow users to erase parts of web pages. Basically, they're putting ad blocking built in there.
No.
And so again, this affects sites that are run on ads, which is like news sites for the most part. And it's just
Right.
another, Apple is still on this quote unquote privacy thing for the users, and they don't care who they hurt or whatever. And it just feels like it's all this collateral damage, because this is like an attack on Google and who makes those types of ads. And I don't know, do we feel that like Apple is our privacy savior and that's a good thing, or are we just like, I don't know, like battered wife between these two different people who are like beating us up like all the time,
I'm just looking forward to being able to visit Forbes.com and actually read an article at some point. That's that's the winner on this front. God, because it's also are they the good guy? Of course not. No, I don't think anybody's feeling that in the general public and across the board. Are they the good guys? It's understandable that if you control the access point, then you're eventually going to want to. It's really similar to like when Reddit went public, right? It's like all of a sudden in the 6 months lead up, there was this in-platform revolt, right? My favorite expression of that was when like all the groups started posting the John Oliver memes and faces and like, right? And then, but what I don't get about that is when it changes the in-platform experience. To a company, I have to say like, we have to make money off of this. That's what we have to do. All right. People get upset, and I don't understand that connection for one. But then also, if it's easy and it's still the thing and that's what comes with my devices across the board, then it doesn't change anything. And I understand, they're gonna, if this moves some sort of weird way into Safari injecting ads, then I think you might actually have some backlash.
There'll be ads in their own properties, their own news app or whatever. Those aren't being erased with this.
But I mean, that sounds like some maniacal master plan stuff. Like, actually, if you own the browser, can you just inject into the experience? Like, I've seen this now on Facebook with a really nice, like, because all that's run through Safari, right? Like, whenever I do an iPhone, click a Facebook ad, it's the Safari native browser dressed up to look like Facebook, right? When I go inside that, or just me out into, and now the ability to be like the dynamic coupon codes that get added, those sort of like how much control do they really have over that experience is what's on my mind. But that I just laugh at that sort of thing. That's the move. Oh my gosh! If Apple can monetize the actual browser, shut it down. That's amazing.
It's sensational. No, I mean, full disclosure, I got a little Apple stock, but I'm with Melanie.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm a shareholder. I have like a share. I'm with Melanie. I think it's great cover. But I do think there was a real, like conversation to be had about how destructive this has been to small businesses. Like the big people, it doesn't really hurt them because I can take punches and I have the ability to maneuver around this. But really, small businesses, it's a challenge when you start to play around with all this stuff. And the iOS, updates back in the day, a couple of years ago, was actually really, really impactful. And so I 100% think privacy is an absolute guise for this. It just happens to align with their business incentives. And it's like, hey, don't you want this? And the challenge is, they're just going to keep hammering this because if you don't care and you're poor, buy an Android. If you care about your privacy and you have money, buy an iPhone. And, for better or worse, it's a great product differentiator because Android can't do this.
I don't think consumers care about their privacy.
No.
Like if there was like if a privacy as a feature cost $100 a month, no one would pay for it. But Apple is using that.
Sliver of folks. My lovely wife is one of them. Ex-communist, ex-existentialist. Now she's married to a dirty capitalist who at least has liberal leanings. And she's got like, I have to ask her to install Chrome to test pop-ups for things that I'm
Yeah.
because like none of her browsers on her phones allows that, and she's not paying a dime for any of it. Number one,
Yeah.
that's the funny part is it's all free, and so she's not actually invested enough to pay for it. And I don't think. I wonder if she would be. That's a really good question. But then the other, I mean, gosh, no. I would open the floodgates to my data, damn near credit level report, if I could just get better ads and recommendations of what clothing to buy. Don't insert a best
Yeah.
because I do buy other clothing, but it's like there's these things of like, if you can make my life easier, yes, you can have it all.
Yeah,
I'm
and-
down for it.
Exactly.
And I feel
give
like
me
that's
the
the sentiment.
give me the vig on my own data,
That's
as
it.
well. I
That's
own
exactly.
it. So.
That's exactly right for me, is that I don't necessarily care about privacy as much as I care about getting crappy ads. And so I think there's something there. But I mean, I don't know. There's definitely for me a little bit of a slippery slope, because if you can start to put all this data together from a bunch of disparate sources, then you can get in some really, kind of high level things that you can do to, because like our data at the individual level, like the micro level, is really not
Okay.
that valuable, but in the aggregate, it gets very interesting very quickly. And that's where I can kind of see it. But again, this
Okay.
is nowhere close to what Apple's doing. Apple is making a capitalistic move they're creating a privacy moat to differentiate their iOS products from Android. Or that's just how I see it. I don't think there's any kind of there's just not goodwill behind this. It's just a total business maneuver that is really amazing to put it behind privacy.
And that's okay.
Right.
That's probably where a lot of my lack of caring comes from, is honestly a place of privilege. Because listen,
Yeah.
I'm not
Fair.
getting
That's fair.
targeted by anybody. By targeted, I mean like in a negative sense, right? I'm a white, heterosexual male with disposable income. Right? I am acutely aware of, despite whatever weird other social platforms there are, because they got kicked off of Twitter and Facebook, right? I won't name
Yeah.
I'm acutely aware though of everything that they may be saying about the danger I'm in because of that demographic. That I'm not. But
Yeah.
that absolutely colors the way I just said all the stuff about take it all, right? Like if
Yeah.
I was in any other position, I might have a very different understanding of that, and I probably shouldn't be so flippant about it. That's true. There is like shenanigans, like fucking dangerous stuff goes down.
Totally. I mean, yeah, exactly. And the person using the LinkedIn burner has some great points, and they're exactly right. Like that's 100%
That's
it.
got to be one of them. That's one of the people who actually cares, right there.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's so perfect.
And they're
That's
also the
so
person that earlier
perfect.
defended GA4. So I don't know. There's like a double suck.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't get a pin. I can't get a pin on this person. You're right. They were a GA4 maxi, and now they're making all these brilliant points. So, Mr. LinkedIn or Mrs. LinkedIn user, I salute you.
Yeah.
All right. So no $1 trillion company gets untouched here. Meta stock plummets after Zuckerberg touts money losing projects. I don't really understand this because they exceeded expectations here, but but dropped 17%. I think they're back up 7, so down 10 overall. But any thoughts on that?
I think it's actually probably a great buying opportunity for Meta. I think this probably just scared some people. I mean, honestly, the best buying, you already missed it, but was Nvidia, where it's like when anybody says AI, you're just like, so I got to give Nvidia a bunch of freaking money. And so I think this is just getting a little bit kind of like close to the metaverse of like, oh my gosh, he's going to spend 14 billion a year on this crazy thing. And so, but to his credit, he backed out of it. And then it was stocks absolutely been screaming. It's still crazy up year to date. So I think this is just more of a, not panic or backlash, but just a little bit of pearl clutching where it's like, oh my gosh, this big fancy cool project that's going to cost $1 bazillion. But I mean, honestly, I can't see there's few companies better positioned to leverage AI because they can amortize it essentially across their whole suite, whether that's through messaging, like what they're doing right now with their tracking and reporting is all just AI. It's not actually real. It's, taking these inputs, then anonymizing it and making. So I don't know. I'm super bullish on it. And I think just a quasi digression too. Can we talk about Zuck's glow up? Like, wow. Whoever his PR team was, he's like the most likable, cool dude now. And like just 4 or 5 years ago, he
low
was
bar
a
to
villain.
start with. I mean,
I don't know. When you have Billy's, there's not problems, there's just opportunities. But I thought it's just been a masterclass of like, you feel like you can relate to this guy and 99.9% of the world can't. And he seems like just a likable, fun guy.
I think Jess is right though. It's
Now.
all relative. It's like being you're the most popular supervillain, right? Lex Luthor has had his day. This is who's not having to do a massive recall right now? All right, that's
Right.
and they're not like actively hurting. So that's the, but it's a great, like, it's funny enough to me, and I remember back when, and I love when Teo Holiday retweets his own tweets from like 2 years ago or something.
It's my favorite.
Like, always bullish on Facebook or anytime this comes up. Yeah. And that's a great, and at least he's looking more human for sure than his like white face.
Needs a windbreaker, as Emmett says, for sure, to complete it. The next level.
Emmett knows. Come on, you guys. Tough crowd.
So Aaron,
tough crowd.
You don't have to worry about breaking any records today because we've already smashed it. 555 is what we're at.
Woo!
Now I just go. Always more. That's the answer.
All right, moving on
Whaley's
to the
inflation.
next segment.
Says survivor, there can be only one software provider.
So this is a segment where we've been curating a list of highly important SaaS tools that we use to run our businesses, build businesses, and we started with a lot, and we're down to 10. There will only ever be 10. Curious if you have any that are really important to you that you use, maybe that we don't know about. Happy to talk about them and put them on the list. And everything that gets added to the list, something gets taken off as well.
Because how do you not have? I mean, you've got Canva on there. Okay. Because I'm definitely going Team Figma over Canva. I think Canva has such severe limitations to an actual, like, if you're running a real business. I'm sure I just insulted everybody who runs.
Oh, he just dropped if you're a real, like, I think we had our
real designer, real website, and you're actually building real UX. It's such a severe limitation to not use Figma. And I'm coming into Monday was my first day at a new gig. So I'm like going through the whole thing of like, what do I need access to? What do I need to actually buy and purchase? And I'd say, I mean, Notion is definitely on my list of do keep, but how can we not kick out Canva for Figma? My gosh, come on.
It's a different class of user.
That's fair.
If you need to make real ads or quick graphics in 10 minutes that don't need to, like, you don't need a pixel push or you don't have a creative director looking at it, Canva is the tool.
I have been in Slack with you. Okay, maybe it's just because I've been in real business pulling from email.
The real got dropped again. This guy's just going in.
I've never. It's always, here's the Figma, here's the Figma, here's the Figma.
You know what? I have to confess, I am a Figma user, but some previous guests made the play for Canva and it stuck. I'm happy to switch it. Robert, you can make the deciding call on that.
What's blot out?
Man.
What's blot out? I don't even know what that is.
That one? That was
it's like a Elevar type thing. Brings the data back. Jon Snow put it on there.
The our LinkedIn burner, I'm pretty sure the acquisition didn't go through, was my understanding. They got blocked. Am I misunderstanding that? I'm pretty sure the Adobe was not allowed to purchase it because of some EU stuff. Anywho, yeah, a blot out. I guess blot out's cool. So would you want to do blot out for Figma? Is that what you're saying, Ao? What's refunnel again, Jess? That was you, right?
No, that was also Jon Snow. I think it was some like capturing UGC attribution type thing. Server side. I don't know. Rishab's saying server side data. I have no idea.
Okay, so like
how are there tools on here that neither one of you know?
Because they were guest picks. They were guest picks. Oh
so like gosh. anyone just gets to come on here and like jam.
If you were a real host, you would understand how this works.
Like verbs.
If you're a real fan of the show, you'd know.
Blot out doesn't even exist. I should have come up with a name of something that doesn't exist. Now that I know that these are the rules, and just put it in there.
We would have
Emperor has no clothes thing. Yeah, like oh yeah, man.
Oh my gosh. Okay, there's a. I'd get
rid of.
Yeah, what do you want?
Not feel ubiquitous. I would say like Canva and Figma. Those are the two, because Canva is the
Yeah.
down and dirty. Let's just jam and guess. I default to it in a pinch. That was one of the ones that I had to be like, who's got the keys to the full unlocked pro account? I need it. So both. Okay, good deal. There it is. I like that.
Yeah, I don't hate this at all. The other thing, Claude, I don't know if you guys have been messing with the Claude AI. That's actually some pretty cool stuff there. I don't know if I don't have a total thesis around it yet, so I don't know if I want to put it yet on SaaS Survivor. But yeah, I'm fine with I think this is a decent starting lineup so far. I don't think what's Reclaim?
Reclaim is calendar AI.
Oh, your time blocking thing.
Time blocking. Yeah. Use that all the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think I'm okay with this. Ayo, any other additions or subtractions?
No, I can identify all the rest of them, so I'm down. I'm good. This is because you got. I mean, gosh, if we're really getting like brass tacks, I mean, does it have like? Can you not put drive in there? Or is that just like everyone gets it? It's fine. I do this game with my kids all the time. Like, what are the 5 apps you would keep on your phone?
And
kind of thing.
I mean, we've replaced Drive with Air.
Yeah. Google Drive though is a part of it's the Google Suite though, so you'd have it's kind of the all. I don't know. It's a weird pick. It's a weird pick. Not into it. Not into it. That's not a real pick. That's not a real pick.
Okay. Then I'm good. I'm good. As long as Drive is a gimme and it's just default, we're fine. Okay. Cool.
Okay. So moving into the segment that people definitely want to know. So we don't have any guesses here. So if anyone wanted to throw a guess, last minute guess in here, we'll see if you get it right. But before you reveal anything, I had to play this video that you made that is breaking the internet right now. So let's just take a second and watch this one.
Changing, he's morphing, he's Aaron Orange, Dorothy, he's the man with 100 vests. Where on earth will he land next? He's changing.
Okay. So we have one guess in there. We'll see if we pick up any more. But before you reveal it, first of all, that is such an earworm. I'm sure you've heard that like 100 times.
So good.
My wife asked me this morning, how many times have you watched your video today? That's how it's like floating around the house.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, man.
But I'm just
the
curious
earpiece
about
hold at the end.
All right. Before you reveal it, I'm curious about your journey a little bit and how this might be, why this is the next step, or what's going on in the life cycle of Orndorff.
Of Orndorff. That's actually, because I was thinking about this, and there's 3 reasons I decided to go where I'm going next. And the first one, the most honest one, has to do with people. So I've been legit friends with my new boss for 2.5, 3 years now. Like, text, call, level, tree trust, don't tell anybody this thing that just went down, oh my gosh, kind of stuff. Now, it's always a little bit sketchy, and I've hired friends before. I've never said, okay, now you pay me money, friend. So there's a little bit of trepidation on my end, but there's also when I met with this person and I met with the powers that be over them, they asked me, what would success look like in 5 years? And honestly, the very first answer that came to mind is I said, if I'm closer with so-and-so after 5 years and not further away, that's how I'll know we won and this was the right choice. So I'm also planning for the long term with this one, and I like that. So it had a lot to do with relationships. And then 2, the crew, the cadre, the army, the Avengers assembled around this person and this company also just absolutely lit me up. And I can go into I have some really good examples of that. But the second one is I didn't realize what an absolute unique situation I inherited when I started at Shopify Plus and then also went over to Common Thread Collective. Because what I had in both of those situations was an army of sales killers. of if marketing brings in a certain volume and a certain quality within that volume of size, then you hand it off and we're going to hold the close rate, and we're actually going to improve the close rate on the higher value deals. So I inherited that when I went to Shopify Plus. They'd already built out the sales team. When I got to Common Thread Collective, my counterpart was Aaron Wachowski, amazing human being out of Austin. He was the VP of sales. I was the VP of marketing. He was A-dubs. I was AO. And then we had this force of human nature called Taylor Holiday that was like, you really want to bring in a ringer? Let's you just fly him in. Good night. Right. And that was the world I lived in for so long that when I finally experienced not that world, I realized you cannot pour marketing. You cannot pour sales. How do I put this? You have to have a sales engine to put marketing gasoline into. You can't do it the opposite way around. It has to be a sales engine built on product market fit and built on getters, humans that can develop relationships and close. And then you pour marketing fuel on that. And in a lot of ways, that was the biggest lesson I walked away from Recart. As grateful as I was for getting into the sales seat and having to do that, as grateful as I was for that, I was also wildly excited to be like, no, that's not where I end the day feeling empowered and energized. So that's simply it. And then the third one was, as I got to know the CEO of this new company, I saw a mirror of the two best parts of the two best CEOs I've ever worked with. And one was Taylor Holiday, and that's just simply the brain power. The brain power mixed with an actual heart, like this prophetic voice that is almost that he talks to his audience. And I don't mean this in a pejorative way. The way a parent talks to their children, wants the best for them, but is willing to say hard truths to them. The good of don't touch that hot stove, right? Like don't run out into the street. You have to wear a helmet. And then what I really was impressed by with Shoma Toth, who was the CEO at Recart, was the trusted advisor nature of when someone spoke the same language as him, incrementality, real returns, backed by in the SMS world. When they spoke that language and he connected with them, I was like, dude, we got this. We got this. And so it was those two combinations I saw in this CEO of the brain power and external chemistry of Taylor Holiday and I genuinely care and I want to come alongside you, be in the trenches with you. So those are like the three big, and then the last one, okay, so this is the last one. I'll cap it with, agency. I thought agency was hard to differentiate. SMS, I so wildly underestimated the competitiveness of SMS. And it has to do with the behemoths we were going up against, the gorilla elephant genetically with so much money engineered beasts that we were going up against in the room. But it also was just like, it's so commoditized because you understand it's a part of your tech stack. So there's switching costs. It's hard to re-platform. You have to learn a new system. So there's all of this, like this pain involved in making that switch. Plus, no one really believes you do anything different, right? So that's like to go somewhere where there is a new narrative, a new category, something that is that you can tell a different story easily. Was like, I think. Like, let's not play marketing on hard mode was kind of I've done that now for quite a while. For quite a while, I played it on hard mode. What if it wasn't that hard? Was like the capper overall. So?
Wow. Okay. So I'll give you a drum roll. I mean, that was a flawless diatribe. And I loved it. So I'll give you a drum roll, and then you can reveal it. See if we can get over 700 viewers here.
Let's do it. Here it comes.
Come on.
For my mother people.
We did it. We did it. We got the deal done, baby. The
Oh
Avengers
my
have
gosh.
been assembled.
That
Put him
is
on a
such
plane.
a way to
Put him
put
on a
it.
plane, Robert. Fly him out.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude,
Only first class for this guy. Only first class.
when this guy started talking to me about this, I was like, neat. Of course. Of course. It's not going to happen. No, it's not. It doesn't. It's not going to be. It can't be that. No. And I kid you not. There were moments. So I've been hanging out with the Fremont folks for like almost a Q1.
Yeah.
And hopefully everybody saw the giant landing page guide that we dropped, right? So I think a lot of people kind of saw this coming as far as like I started doing all. So they've been paying me. Yeah, I did a little engagement with them, doing some more. But like, I could kid you not. I was literally interviewing Alex, who's now leading up product marketing at Recard. I was trying to get him, and there was a conversation I had with Robin where this stuff just kept happening. Where he's like, "Hey, we got Alex," and I was like, "You asshole!" Like, that is. I got exposed to freaking Lex finally for the first time in the guts of Google Documents, and I was like, "Who is this lady?" This is me, but not me. I've never been on a team before where I had that experience of like, oh my gosh, I am not the only game wards in town. Come on. That is, and I could go on and on too. I mean, it's just the caliber of the folks that have been drawn together. And of course, all the nice things I said about Rashab. My gosh, yeah, it's almost like you even caught his whiteboard Wednesdays. I was like, that's the one for one that I was looking for as far as like the ability to articulate. Yeah,
it's interesting that it's very much a person. You make a just choice based off the people there, and that can seem natural. But I actually think on the consumer side, a lot of SaaS is also bought the same way. I absolutely use SaaS providers that are superior technology because I really like the people there. And I know that I'm not buying software, I'm buying into a relationship, and I want to be in a good relationship with people. And even if it's not perfect, if I know that it can improve or know that these people are like behind my success, it becomes a no-brainer decision.
Behind my success. That's a great way to put it for SaaS choices, for any time you're giving somebody your money or in any human relationship. Especially in relationships. If someone knows I'm in their corner and I know they're in my corner, I can take so much more flack and heat when I know that's the enveloping taste of our relationship.
And just a little live update. We just popped 725. So this is almost right up there with the LeBron decision. I think the numbers are, plus or minus a couple hundred probably.
How do we not partner with Twitter on this? Does this like all this?
We don't need to go there.
What? Okay, let's not. All right.
Get a little pump up.
Fucking trash. Oh my gosh. Okay, no, shut it down. I'm good.
But anyways, from our perspective, we're super happy to have you. So thank you for coming over, AO. It's been really cool to deepen our relationship and go to the moon together. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
And then AO, I'm also curious that these moves, it's a people-based decision, and people of your caliber, they don't like go to places like for money necessarily, but they see a vision that in the product, not just the people, but like in the product that can get them out of bed, all the time. And so I'm curious. We haven't really talked a lot about Fremont on this program. I'm curious, what do you see in that program that causes you to make such a jump?
It was the first time I've experienced technology, something that's been built with the same rigor and when people who are in ad accounts, from CMOs that have gone through the trenches to VPs to e-commerce managers to the actual buyers to heads of growth, understand the lifeblood of any e-commerce business, any business, but e-commerce in particular, is net new customer acquisition and expansion into new audiences that are net new, like incremental. And sometimes that's done, a lot of times that's done through product. A lot of times it's done through variants, not just new lines. But creative is the unlock that takes place. I mean, Facebook still is the greatest sales demand capture, demand generation machine that's ever been created in the history of human existence.
Yep.
And it any good, and I think you can identify with this. This is one of the things I love about every time I listen to Andrew Ferris and hang out with that guy, is like he is so done with predicting what ad's going to win. He's got templates and he's got formats and he's got structures that he thinks works, and you're always putting in those first different 3 seconds, a different CTA. So maybe you've got your favorites, but there's just this idea, like you know what the idea, the way you win the game is 75% iterative based on things we know or track record of winning, and 25% net new ideas. But it's packing the ad account and then letting the winners get decided by the machine, by what can spend at scale. And as much as everyone knows that's how you still win from a marketing and advertising perspective, there is nothing that says, what if we did that at where they go next? And it's so obvious once you make that connection that it's like, of course, guess what? It freaking matters the results you get over here. And so like the speed with which this happens, the idea of like not just the creative, keeping that momentum going or mixing and matching, but also the idea to say, like, one of the things I love about Dave Recook is like offers. And so to say, yeah, what if we defaulted to subscription first with 2 other upsells? What if it was like hero SKU and then we do the in-card? Like the ability to quickly iterate and test new things, and what's the price point and the discount and the bundle and the free gift, or is it free shipping? Like all these things that are fundamental limitations when you get to the site that aren't limitations in just changing the words on the ad copy. What if we made it that easy over here? This is one of those places where I think like this isn't going anywhere, so this has got to level up too. And it was the first time I saw that like coming together.
Yeah. A lot of blue ocean, I'd say, post-click on that experience. Thoroughly disagree with you on the Andrew Ferris side of things. And I'll just say he doesn't have to choose winners because that's not his job. Whereas on the creative side, we are always making edits, and all of those edits are us making a prediction, and we have to do it 100 times for every ad. So we do need a actual learning engine that works and that has a high repeat rate to allow us to upgrade and make better predictions. We do have to make predictions on the creative side. Once we give it to him, he doesn't. He can let them run, but.
And so, like, I think about, I loved your recent one on the different. Was it Fit Fab Fun? Which one won? Right?
Fab Fit Fun. Yep. Fab
Fit Fun. Yeah.
Right.
And so you're creating these. Was that actually 3 that you made with this idea, or was it like 4?
We've made dozens of those, but yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, that it's but you had to make dozens. You couldn't make hundreds. So you had to make a prediction and a bet on the ones you actually made and put out there into the world. Right? And then the winner is determined by, all right, let's put it out there. And what do people actually buy from? What drives the results? Can we push more spend into it? Right. So I get it. You're saying it's not like blind, and maybe Taylor's even better than this. If you listen to their long podcast, the one Andrew and Taylor did, where they just basically got into a giant ass fight about this exact topic. And I think Andrew is right in that sense of I'm telling you objectively, this long form explainer, I don't care if you call it long, is actually right now the best format I can create. It will win, and it is crushing objectively across accounts and verticals. So I don't want to paint it too far of a picture of that, but you're still the idea of we had to make all of these different things with this kernel, uniting them. The word, it's what you did with that was so great, and I love almost it's like a different.
The energy is perfect.
Yeah,
yeah. I think from the peanut gallery, I think you're both right. I think that you should use spend. Spend is the best for me heuristic for success for an ad. But on the front end, and I don't necessarily think winners and losers is actually a good way to frame it. It's more so the scientific method of here's our hypothesis, here's how here's what we need to test it, and here's how the test came out, and let's go from there. Because I've been doing this 20 years, 17 years now, and I haven't once been able to call an ad. And so I think you guys are kind of saying the same thing different ways, where there needs to be ideation, hypotheses, and bets on the front end. And then you can, like, you're not choosing the winner or picking the winner. You're just like, hey, who can drive the most business impact? So anyways, I think you're saying the same thing different ways. But I always love when Jess gets fired up, though. See, Ayo, poke the bear more. I love the Jess rants.
Well, no, I don't know if I'm going to poke the bear at this, but what I would say is what fired me up about Fremont was I hadn't seen the ease or ability to do what's done in an ad account with creative and offers reflected.
Yeah.
That part I totally agree with. I mean, that's not to get into devolve into a sales pitch, but I think that's one of the
let's do it. Are you kidding me? I'm fresh off.
Let's get the numbers.
Justify my value. Just said people don't make decisions based off of money, but I did, and now I got to hang it over my head. Come on.
But the too long didn't read is the ability to extend your ad into a customer journey at scale with ease. I think it's just getting a better laboratory set where you can try more, you can test more, you can do things that previously were either economically untenable, bandwidth wise untenable, or you don't want to play on the main site because like we play up market and like you don't want to put any returning revenue or brand equity at risk. Like you just don't. And your website needs to be average, but that's not a bug. That's a feature because you want your website to appeal to everybody. But when you're in those marketing and when you're in those acquisition and retention frames, like you can be wild and wacky and be on the edges and the extremes and try things like the graphic that Jess posted, what was it, 2 months ago or something, just the gnarly one. And I was like, dude, this is the worst thing ever. But you would never in your wildest dreams put that on a website, but that thing crushed. And so now think about extending that to the post-click experience, to the product page, to the cart. And so you just get a lot of things where you don't have to be constrained by the averages that you need to adhere to when you're a big brand where you're like, dude, don't mess with my returning revenue and don't mess with my brand equity. I've worked too hard to get this and I don't want to put any of it at risk. And so now it's kind of a win-win for everybody. But anyways, to your point, Jacob, Homestead, he's going to Homestead. It's amazing.
He's your new boss.
I'm a partner. I'm going to run retention. I'm not sure how that affects you, but we'll find out.
But my last comment on Format is it feels like the landing page builder industry feels so old. Whenever I use even the new tools, it feels like I'm riding the bicycle with that like huge wheel or something. Yep. And then Format has like a freaking hover car, just like it's truly night and day. So.
And especially like from the trenches days of CTC and what a media buyer does have to do with creative if they're limited by that, and that's usually the limiting function is like the scrappiness that they have to approach their own iterations when they don't have design support or support from the brand that was like those sort of those what if you know how you approach ad buying, what if you could approach what happens next the same way? That's the
done deal.
That's exactly right. Amazing.
Right, let us give away this amazing merch here.
Yeah.
Chat putting in work. Who in the chat is gonna win this match?
All right. Let me toss the names in here. 1 second.
Dun, 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 dun.
Not Zev. We're gonna roll it again. But a lot of names on here. Here we go.
Oh wow. Come on, Alan Finn. Ooh, let's go.
Get in early, get in often.
First in,
Amazing.
First winner.
First
That's
blood.
Perfect. That's as it should be.
First blood, baby. You love to see it.
Alessandro, I'll try and find you and get your address and we'll send that out. Only one person guessed correctly, and that was the LinkedIn burner account. So if you want to reveal yourself, this windbreaker is yours. We're not going to roll it again.
You know,
this seems like a honey trap
of being that burner account. I have hidden Twitter accounts that I just got to do the same thing for LinkedIn. That's how you really big this up. I would say probably at least 225 of these 829 are Aaron Orndorff clones for sure. Yeah.
Hey, that's how we got the 832 live viewers. So hey, the clones are working, baby.
Do what you got to do.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. we're a bit over time. I wanted to thank everyone, all 832 of you, for stopping by. Everyone in the chat, Aaron especially, for coming on and blowing our numbers, setting a high bar, which I don't think will be beaten anytime soon, but we'll try. We'll try.
We'll try. We'll
Um,
try. Great show.
Any
Great
parting
show. The
words,
chat-
Rob, before I kick the outro?
No, the chat was amazing, super fun. We really love to have this kind of less of talking at you and more just having a discussion with all you guys. So it's really awesome and really just really cool perspectives on everything. So really awesome there. And no notes. I love the music too. I like the AI sprinkle, but the original jingle's the best. That was the good one. I'm glad you
I
brought
don't know
that
how
back.
you do it.
So
You're something else, Mr.
Yes.
All right. Well,
Something else.
Aaron, stick around for the next segment because we'll need you. But here's the outro.
It's the DTC Shoooooow outro. You don't have to go back to work, but you can't stay here. It's almost the weekend, so grab yourself a beer. But before you black out, can you give us a shout? By liking and subscribing, it would really help us out.
All right.
amazing.
Fun. All right. This last segment here. I don't know, Aaron, have you seen this? You probably haven't seen this, but this becomes the intro to the YouTube cut when we put it on there. So Rob is going to come in hot and be like, amazing show, blah, blah, blah. We had Aaron on there. And you're going to run down what we saw during the show. And here's the list. It's on the screen, and you could add any color that you want.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready. I
got
think
these,
my laptop is dying, so I'm going to try and get this in quick, and then I got to get to a charger. All right, here we go. All right, folks, welcome to the DTC show. Today we have the big reveal, the decision, DTC style, and then speaking of the guy that's revealing the decision, Ayo, take it away.
10 out of 10 on the guest introduction. Absolutely nailed it. DTC News of the Week. Oh my gosh. We rolled through money on money on money. That was the name of the game. SAS Survivor was all about. Jess and Rob have no rules, evidently, for the list.
None.
I'm going to fight them on it. Stick around for that. I announced where I'm going next. Come on. You already heard the news, but you should watch it for a replay instead. Win the merch. God. You and my children are going to be punished. You're going to be rewarded. And then Cup and the Raba, I don't know what that means.
Oh,
but
we didn't.
Let's go for it.
Didn't get to it. All right.
Perfection.
Cool. Great.
Perfect.
Thank you. I'm going to end the broadcast, and then I'll see you in the green room briefly.